Hello. Can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect. Hello, everybody. Today is Monday, July 21st. It's currently 8:06 p.m. No intro video today just because I want to get straight to it. Today, Stephan Sterns decided to take the plea deal of guilty instead of in exchange for the death penalty. Just literally, I think they said a day before he was supposed to go to trial. So I think sometime this week or next week they were supposed to go to trial already, but he decided last minute, like, hey, I'm gonna plead guilty, whatever. I want to talk about it tonight. We were supposed to talk about Casey Anthony, but since this happened today, I was like, you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's debrief on it. I saw it and it just pissed me off. I don't get how they can let over in in certain states. I don't get how they can do that, where in exchange of the death penalty you can plead guilty to kind of sort of avoid trial and all these things. I think they should have never gave him that opportunity. They should have just gave him the death penalty, took his ass to trial, because he deserves the death penalty because, one, he did all those horrendous things to Maddie for years and years and years and years. Number two, he was a fucking liar. Three, I don't know what that was. Three, he not only did he, try to cover up what he did to Maddie, he dumped her like she was trash. Like, are you kidding me? It just, I want justice for Maddie, and I'm always going to stand by it. Another thing that pissed me off was how Jennifer Soto did not attend. This was not there. She didn't even... We haven't seen Jennifer Soto since... we haven't seen Jennifer Soto in over a year. Okay, no one knows where she is. No one knows what happened to her. They think she's in hiding. I think at least what Jennifer should have done, if she was a really good mother, Jennifer should have gone on today, said what she had to say. You had Tyler and Tatiana who went up. You had a roommate who went up. You had, family, her aunt who went up. I think that she should have went as a mother. If she was somebody who wanted justice for her own daughter, she should have gone up there, said her statement, said what she had to say, but she didn't. She would have been fighting for justice for Maddie, and she didn't. And that shows me right there what kind of a heartless mother she is. Shows me what kind of a POS she is. We've talked about this case. She had so many inconsistencies. She lied for Stephan Sterns. She told Stephan Sterns to get himself a lawyer instead of focusing on her daughter and helping, PD with something to bring her daughter home, or just to anything for her daughter. It showed me as a person what kind of a mother Jennifer Soto is and who she is. She's not a mother. She chooses a man over her own daughter, and that's what she did. And to this day, I'm still going to say it. Allegedly, I think she had part of what happened, and she knew this whole time. Why they didn't charge her for child neglect, I don't know. Could this be maybe they're going to use Jennifer later for something? I don't know. But to me, it was weird how she didn't show up, but everyone else did. It's weird to me. That showed me what kind of a character Jennifer Soto is. But we're gonna get right into it. But before I do that, I'll do my disclaimer. Everything I say is all alleged. In my opinion, it's for entertainment and educational purposes only. I get my sources from trusted sources and resources. I am not responsible for anyone else's commentary, their opinions, their actions, anything like that. So let's just get right on into it, because I was gonna go live once it happened, but I got busy and I was like, let me just go live later on tonight. Excuse me, and we'll talk about it. It really ruffled my feathers how this happened, I was like, wait, what? I knew he had a plea hearing, but I didn't know it was early in the day, but it was. So we're gonna watch. And then Wednesday we'll go back and we'll talk about Casey Anthony. Regarding Casey Anthony, we have a live on her Wednesday. We're gonna do part 2 and talk about more of the trial, not the trial, but more of the case. And then after that, I should have the live set for the weekend. I think maybe Friday, I'll have a live set and we can talk about some of the trials. I do want to cover some of Casey Anthony trials. Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen.
You have 6-3-2 appearances for the record, beginning with the state, please.
Danielle Pennell,
William J.
the state.
On behalf of the defense.
Alicia Smith. Beth Borden.
Peter Mills. First will be a written statement.
Okay, let me get to the parts
3.
we can hear, because right now it's kind of low.
6-3-2. Court has also received an addendum to the plea form. Ms. Borden, Ms. Smith, do you wish to walk me through the terms of the agreement?
Yes, Judge. In exchange, Mr. Sterns will be entering a plea.
That signature is next to my finger. Can you tell me if that is your signature? State of Florida filed a notice of intent to seek the penalty of death. That was on June 7th, 2024. Is the state formally going to be withdrawing that notice of intent to seek the penalty of death?
After the acceptance of the plea announcement.
Thank you. Should that announcement be made by the state of Florida, the proposed sentence will be the maximum sentence allowed by law. I'm going to place you under oath.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly?
If you're wondering about the audio, it's Law and Crimes in. I think I might do Court TV because I don't know. Law and Crime kind of sounds like it's low. Let me find Court TV. It could be just on Law and Crimes then. Here, let's do this one. I don't know what's going on with Law and Crimes in. Let me let this ad play out. We should. Okay, no. Okay, perf. I don't know. Seeing Stephan Sterns now, he gives me like a weird vibe. He looks weird. I don't know. He gives me like Brian Koberger, like not Brian Koberger, Chris Watt vibes.
State, we have an online presence named Stephanie. Is that representative from the survivor family?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court has admitted an online presence, Stephanie. Also admitting Chris Walker.
Okay, so this is a change of plea in the case of Stephan Sterns. While there's a little quiet in the courtroom here, I wanted to talk to you about what's going on. So there are two separate cases. There's a sexual assault case against 13-year-old Madeline Soto, and then there is a murder, death penalty case, which is
Court has received two
projected for later in the
one
year.
for each of the cases.
Let's listen in.
CF 1293, 2024, CF 632. Court has also received an addendum to the plea form. Ms. Borden, Ms. Smith, do you wish to walk me through the terms of the agreement?
Yes, Judge. In exchange, Mr. Sterns will be entering a plea in the 693 case, the counts 1 through 20. The state will be on the counts on no process 21 through 60. Set on concurrently with the 1293 case and adjudication of guilt as to each life concurrent, and then additionally.
Thank you. And state as to the addendum. I'm going to ask the folks that have joined us remotely to please mute their microphones. State any special considerations in the addendum to the plea form?
No, Your Honor, we are just incorporating the plea addendum into the.
State of Florida filed a notice of intent to seek the penalty of death. That was on June 7th, 2024. Is the state formally going to be withdrawing that notice of intent to seek the penalty of death?
After the acceptance of the plea and pronouncement of sanctions.
Thank you. Should that announcement be made by the state of Florida, the proposed sentence will be the maximum sentence allowed by law. Mr. Sterns, I'm going to place you under oath.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to enter into this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. I have two plea forms in my hand. One document looks like this. Second document looks like this. They're each plea forms for your respective cases. They each have a signature. That signature is the same on both plea documents. That signature is next to my finger. Can you tell me if that is your signature?
It's hard to tell from here.
Deputy, will you provide these forms?
How in the hell is it hard for you to know if that's your signature or not? Boy, oh my God. I don't know. Stephan Sterns gives me the ick vibe. I think just the way he, like, since the beginning, his voice was just like so cringy to me. Like, how do you not know that's your signature? Obviously, you signed for these plea deals. Like, hello. I have to do commentary so I don't get copyrighted. So I'm gonna come in like here and there.
Defendant.
Yes, it is.
What your signature and a set of initials after each of the 26 paragraphs on each document, those initials being SS, tell me is that you have had an opportunity to read these documents. Do you have any difficulty reading and writing the English language?
I have no difficulty.
And your signature indicates that you are aware of each of the 26 paragraphs and all of the terms and conditions of these two documents. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I have a secondary document. It is an addendum to the plea form. That document is 4 pages long. It appears to have the same initials on the bottom of each of the pages, as well as a signature at the conclusion of the case along with your attorney, Ms. Borden and Ms. Smith. I'm going to ask the deputies to please provide this document to you, and I'm going to ask you to verify that this is your signature.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, it is.
What your signature on this document tells me is that you have had an opportunity to read this document, go over it with your attorneys, and you understand the 13 additional conditions of your plea agreement. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Each of the plea form goes over what your trial rights would be. In 2024 CF 1293, you were charged with the allegation of first-degree premeditated murder. In 2024 CF 632, you are charged with 60 counts. The first 9 counts being sexual battery with a child 12 to 18 years of age, counts 10 through 13 being sexual battery with a child 12 to 18 years of age, counts 14 through 20 being lewd or lascivious molestation, counts 21 through 60 being unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child, 10 or more images.
Your Honor, counts 1 through 8 are sexual battery on a child under 12.
My apologies. Counts 1 through 8 are capital sexual battery on a child under 12. The plea form contemplates in 2024 CF 1293, 1 count of murder, first degree, capital offense. Plea form on 24 CF 632 contemplates counts 1 through 8, 9 through 13, 14 through 20. With the representation that the state of Florida is withdrawing their notice of intention to seek the penalty of death upon acceptance of this plea, the maximum potential sentence on 24 CF 1293 would be life in prison without possibility of parole. Has the maximum sentence been explained to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And in 24 CF 632, counts 1 through 8, the maximum potential sentence would be a mandatory sentence of life in prison without possibility of parole. 9 through 13 and 14 through 20 would be first degree felony allegations with a maximum potential sentence of up to life in prison. You understand those maximum potential sentences on that case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you have a right to have a jury trial as to each of these allegations? And at the jury trial, the state of Florida would have to prove those allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. At that trial, your attorneys would be with you. They are experienced, board-certified criminal expert trial attorneys. They would be cross-examining witnesses, examining the evidence against you. You would have a right to present your own witnesses and your own evidence. If you had witnesses that did not want to come to court, you could have asked me to make them come to court with a subpoena. You could have spoke at your trial, or you could have exercised your right to remain silent and not spoken. That would have been your decision after you talked those decisions over with your attorneys, and your jury would have been instructed not to consider your decision to remain silent in any way in rendering a verdict. You would have had a right to have your trial recorded and appeal any errors that occurred in the process. Do you understand you are giving up all of your trial rights if the court accepts this plea? Because I will be imposing the sentence that you have agreed with the state of Florida to be imposed upon you, and we will not be having a trial on any of these matters. Do you understand those things?
I understand.
Okay, I have to do like commentary. He does have the 60 charges, yes. I don't. Besides that, I don't think they mentioned. We've talked about it when we talked about it in the live we did on Stephan Sterns, that they went to his parents' house, which is Chris and Deborah Sterns. They went through his laptop. It was not a laptop. It was a desktop that was used through the whole family. It was, everyone in the family had access to it. They signed into his individual profile on it, and they found over 3,500, I believe, of pictures and videos of CSAM. This was right after he literally got charged with the actual assaults of Maddie. I don't know if they included it in it, but they found dozens and dozens of photos as well saved to that computer. And then, of course, they charged him with the videos and pictures that they could find on his phone of what he did to Maddie. Mind you, he did the factory reset. So if he had tons of more pictures, those are all erased. They only got up to certain dates. I don't like how he's taking the plea deal. They should have. I feel like in some states they should get rid of it, because things like this, he deserves the death penalty. But then again, I think about it, I'm like, no, maybe he deserves a long, slow death behind bars. Don't put him in suicide watch. Throw him in general population where they can have a little rile fun with him. Just how you did all those things to Maddie, I never say this about anybody, but I hope they do all those things that you did to Maddie to you. Before you said you were not guilty, you said that Maddie threw herself on you. How is a 13-year-old little girl going to throw herself on a grown-ass man? No 13-year-old girl is ever going to do that. You were a predator. Let's remind the people who don't know who Stephan Sterns is. You are a predator. You were disgusting. At a very young age, allegedly, you were preying on women. You were spiking their drinks, allegedly, with your bodily fluids, and your parents covered it up. I think you're taking this plea deal because you're fucked. You know that you're not going to have any witness who's going to come out and cover your ass, because the only two that are going to cover your ass are your parents, and they can't pay to cover your ass, because before they were paying people to shut up so they wouldn't say anything. But now mommy and daddy can't pay the court to make this all go away. No, you fucked up, because you know what you did. You actually you molested a 13-year-old little girl who didn't want this. You were a master manipulative on many people. You dumped her like trash. I'm still gonna say it. I feel like you got Jennifer Soto involved in this, and that's why she didn't come to this, and why she's in hiding. Why? Is because Jennifer Soto is guilty. She's having guilty conscience. it shows me what kind of a disgusting sicko you are, Stephan Sterns, and it shows me what kind of a disgusting, sick person Jennifer Soto is and will always be. Because if Jennifer Soto, like I said, if Jennifer Soto really did care about her daughter, she would have showed up to this plea hearing and she would have said a piece of her mind, and she would have said something and want justice for her daughter, like since the beginning. If she really cared for her daughter, she would have made this stop. I'm still gonna say it. She knew something, and I feel like she was maybe allegedly a part of this. And it shows to me what kind of a heartless person she is, because she didn't show up to this. Why? I mean, is there a reason why you didn't show up to this, Jennifer Soto? Because of, I mean, I like to know. I genuinely like to know. I really do.
And Your Honor, just for record purposes, counts 9 through 13 are first-degree felonies punishable by life, as the court indicated. Count 14 through 20 are actually life felonies.
These are life felonies with a minimum mandatory of 25 years. Is life a required sentence, or would that be a punishable by life offense?
It's a life, punishable by life offense. I just wanted the record to be clear. This court indicated first-degree felonies, punishable by life. I just wanted the record to be clear that 14 through 20 are life felonies with 25-year minimum mandatories.
So the plea form indicates that these are first-degree felonies. These are actually either capital offenses or punishable by life offenses. Do you understand that, Mr. Sterns?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing you or pressuring you into make the decision to resolve your case this way?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone made you any other promises other than what has been presented to you as the agreed upon sentence?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or mental issues that cause you not to understand the decision that you are making?
I am not.
Do you understand, if you are not a United States citizen, that entry of this plea would subject you to deportation proceedings?
Yes.
And if you ever before had been convicted of a sexually violent or a sexually motivated offense, entry of this plea would have subjected you to involuntary civil commitment at the conclusion of any incarcerative sentence. Do you understand that's the state of Florida law?
Yes.
Ms. Smith, do you have any competency concerns regarding Mr. Sterns' fitness to accept this plea agreement?
No, Judge.
Ms. Borden?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Sterns, based on your responses to the court, based on your indicating that you have reviewed this decision with your attorneys, based on your initialing of the plea form and your acknowledgement that you understand all the terms and conditions, rights and obligations on these plea forms, including the addendum, the court is going to make a determination that you are.
Hi, Craig. How are you? How's everything going? She's to blame. Yeah, Jennifer Soto is to blame. I really want to know why she's not. They haven't done anything. At least charge her with some type of child neglect. Or, I mean, could Tyler do like a civil lawsuit against her? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I think they need to charge her, because there is no way, with everything that we know about this case, there's no way that Jennifer Soto cannot miss anything. Like, apparently, allegedly, they said she worked for Disney. They said she worked from home. She worked nights, things like that. Some people said allegedly she worked from home at night, so she was able to see things, or she worked from home during the day. It's all alleged. I don't know what Jennifer Soto really did for work, because it's all over the place. But like Craig said, she is to blame, and I blame her too. I'm pretty sure there's many people besides us two who would say Jennifer Soto is to blame as well. I do want to know why she's not there. Like, did they tell her not to go? I mean, if any mother would still show up. We haven't seen Jennifer Soto in like a year. I want to know where she is. Like, I think she's just hiding. Last time people said she was at her sister's house because they saw the car. And after that, like, she just disappeared like Houdini. Like, nobody knows where Jennifer Soto is. She's in hiding because she knew she effed up. I want to know where she is and why she didn't show up here.
Are alert. You have had an opportunity to discuss this with your attorneys, that you are making this decision freely and voluntarily and without coercion. The court accepts your plea. Let me see the attorneys.
Okay, you're hearing a lot of legal terminology right now. The judge just called the attorneys up to the bench. So, and I apologize, as the audio is a little low in the courtroom right now. We can't control that. We're just getting that feed in from the court. We're boosting it as much as possible. But here's what's going on. So Stephan Sterns was projected to have 2 trials this year, one for...
I'm muted, I forgot. Okay, you see how even Jennifer Soto's mother can show up, right? The sister, which would be her aunt, more family. I know Tyler and Tatiana are back there. I know a spokeswoman of the family is there as well. This shows me that grandma, like, no matter what, even though Jennifer Soto is her daughter, grandma said, no, I want justice for my grandbaby. Jennifer, shame on you, because look at your mom. Your mom showed up. Your mom wants the actual justice for your daughter. Where are you at? Hiding. Your own sisters want justice for your daughter. Where are you? Hiding.
or sexually abusing, many counts of sexual abuse of young 13-year-old Madeline Soto, and before she was 13. And then a trial was scheduled for later in the year that would have been a death penalty capital murder case. So what is happening in this change of plea here is that, you can see our Mike DeForest there in the foreground taking notes, is that he is basically agreeing to plead guilty to many of these counts, 60 counts in one case, and that first-degree murder charge. And in response, the prosecutors are going to take the death penalty off the table. So what appears to be happening here today is Stephan Sterns is pleading guilty to all the charges in front of them, and he will spend the rest of his life in prison. Now, what does that mean for today? Well, it looks like he could be sentenced. He's expected to, the judge will take the maximum sentence. It will be life without parole. Many of these counts, as you could hear, either give him life or life without parole. And so he will be getting the maximum sentence for all of those. But this day will add extra things into this, as we're expecting victim impact statements. In fact, we spoke with one of the lawyers involved in this case. They said Maddie's biological father will be reading the victim impact statements to Stephan Sterns in the courtroom today. So very dramatic day, a very, it's just been a terrible case to cover, in all honesty. And this will bring a little closure for that family so they can move on and not have to deal with all these court cases. But for Stephan Sterns, he will not be facing the death penalty later on this year. So again, some of these counts, of course, first-degree premeditated murder is the big one. That was the one that he could have faced the death penalty for. And there were 60 other counts, just all across the board, counts of child molestation, sexual battery, child porn, and all of those counts came when Stephan Sterns handed over his phone to investigators. So what happened when Madeline Soto went missing, of course,
Life without parole. I think they should have just left him the death penalty, honestly. I want to hear some of the statements. Okay, wait, let me go back. Okay. I think they should have just left him with the death penalty. One, because he deserves it. So let's see the victim impact statements. I know Tyler, Tatiana, Maddie's grandma, her aunts, family is all there. Everyone but Jennifer Soto is there. Literally everybody but her.
Silenced by a horrific act. The very man who betrayed her trust, her innocence, her body. And if that wasn't enough damage, he took her life.
Molestation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Prior to sentencing, does this
Even started. So Stearns was arrested. Let's listen in as they continue this plea
discussion
hearing.
with the parties regarding the plea of no contest as to 24 CF 1293, first degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto. Mr. Sterns, how do you plea to first degree premeditated murder in 24 CF 1293?
No contest.
And as to counts 1 through 8, capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12. Counts 9 through 13, sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18. And counts 14 through 20, lewd or lascivious molestation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Prior to sentencing, does the state care to offer any victim impact testimony?
Your Honor, the first will be a written statement from Madeline's maternal grandmother. Yolanda Zambrano. Today I stand before you with a broken soul. I'm Madeline's grandmother, but to her I was not grandma. Madeline always called me mama. She decided that since she was little. And that's how I felt with her, like a second mother who loved her with all my heart. Madeline was a happy little girl. She loved going shopping with me. That excited her so much that it felt like everything around us turned into color. I remember her face lighting up when we went to the stores, holding hands, laughing together in those moments. We connected, and I felt like she knew she was loved, protected, and valued. At night, we loved to play. It was in those moments, just before bed, that she laughed the most. Sometimes it's hard for me to close my eyes because I still hear her laughter. It was free, sweet, and sincere laugh, a sound I will never forget as long as I live. But that laughter was silenced by a horrific act, the very man who betrayed her trust, her innocence, her body. And if that wasn't enough damage, he took her life. And with her, he killed a piece of our souls. Since then, life has never been the same. Our family is empty and broken. There are days when the pain is so great that I feel like I'm drowning. And every time I think of everything she could have been, everything that was stolen from her, it hurts even more. Because Maddie wasn't just a victim. She was a little girl with a beautiful future, with a unique light, with so much love to give and receive. Today I am here because Maddie can no longer speak, but I can as her grandmother. As someone who loved her with all that I am, I come to ask for justice for her memory, for everything she lived through and should never have lived through. Justice so that no one else has to go through such a horror. I will never forget Maddie, her voice, her laughter, her eyes, her dreams. All of that lives in me, and so it will live forever. My beautiful girl, one day we will be reunited and we will never be separated again. I love you with all my heart. Thank you for listening to me with deep pain and eternal love.
This is a statement from Angelica Negro Guerrero. My name is Angelica Negro Guerrero. I lived with Maddie and Jennifer in the same house for about 2.5 years. Today, I take the liberty of expressing myself not just as a roommate, but as part of the family, as Maddie told me several times. How can I explain how this tragedy has impacted my life? There are so many emotions. I am an immigrant and I have lived in this country for 4 years. I left my country, Venezuela, alone with just a suitcase in my hand in search of a better future. Venezuela has been going through the worst moment in history, run by people blinded by power and money, people who have stolen the future of so many. I've always been against injustice, abuse, corruption, and evil in general. I couldn't picture myself living in a country where I had to witness every single day how a small corrupt group destroyed countless families and the beauty of my nation. And that's exactly why it has been so devastating for me to experience something so tragic, so close to me after coming here with a hope for a better life. I ended up living under the same roof with a man who took a life of a 13-year-old girl, and with that shattered an entire family. What is the point of having dreams, plans, and opportunities if there is no life? If there is so much evil in the world? How can I explain what I felt and how this has affected me, especially considering that this same man took nude photos of my body without my consent, violating my privacy? I felt invaded, outraged, degraded, anguished, and absolutely shattered. I constantly think that my life was in danger too. I could have died. I am also a victim. And the only reason I'm here to write this is because God is great and I know I'm under his protection. This has affected my emotional, physical, and financial stability. I haven't been able to live with strangers ever again. Right now, I rent an apartment by myself. I pay it with all my effort just to feel safe and at peace. If I already had trouble trusting people before, now it's even harder. I can't imagine even handling a neighbor too close because it gives me anxiety. I tried to get psychological help to move forward, but this is something that will forever remain in my memory and continue to affect me deeply. To this day, I wish I could wake up and realize none of this ever happened, that this was just a nightmare. I wish I could still be spending time with Maddie, making her arepas with cheese and butter like she loved, and practicing our languages together. Me learning English and her learning Spanish. I'll never forget the words she always told Jennifer. Mommy, I would love to learn Spanish so I can talk a lot with Angelica. I think about all the time and I wish it had been me who spoke English fluently back then. Maybe she would have opened up to me about the hell she was going through with that horrible man. I want justice for Madeline and for all the girls and women who have lived through something similar. I want him to pay for all the pain he caused her and the beautiful family I love with all my heart. I send all my love to the sky to Madeline so her soul may find peace. Angelica. This is from Zamina Zambrano, a cousin to Maddie Soto. To the Honorable Court, we write this letter with broken hearts still aching from the devastating loss of our beloved Maddie Soto. The pain of losing her is something no family should ever have to endure. But the nature of her death, the cruelty, the abuse, the inhumanity has inflicted a level of trauma and sorrow that words can scarcely convey. Maddie was more than a victim. She was a daughter, a granddaughter, a cousin, a niece, and a cherished soul in our close-knit and loving family. To know her was to love her. Her spirit, her kindness, and her light remained with us, even though her life was so brutally taken. She was not only murdered, she was discarded like she was nothing, thrown into the wilderness. That image haunts our minds and wounds our hearts every day. Our grief has been compounded by the public scrutiny and the cruelty of strangers who speculate and judge without knowing the depth of our loss or the strength of our bond. We are a large family rooted in love, faith, and mutual support, and this tragedy has shaken us to our core, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Many of us suffer sleepless nights, constant anxiety, and depression. The trauma has left scars that will last a lifetime. We turn to God for comfort, and we trust that divine justice will ultimately be done. But we also place our faith in this court to uphold what is just and right. Maddie deserves that. Our family deserves that. We beg you to consider the profound impact this crime has had, not just on one individual, but on an entire family and community. Please ensure that the individual who committed this horrifying act is held fully accountable. Justice for Maddie cannot bring her back, but it can ensure that her life and her death are not dismissed or dishonored. Let there be no leniency for this cruelty. Let there be no question about the value of her life. Let justice be done. Sincerely, Jimena, please, on behalf of the Zambrano family.
Ma'am, can you tell the court your name?
My name is Letizia Nunez. I was Madeline's aunt.
Can you spell your first and last name for the court report?
Letizia, last name Nunez, Nunez. To Maddie. When I was 7 years old, a beautiful newborn baby was brought into our lives. And I remember being so excited because I was going to be an aunt. You gave me a sense of responsibility from such a young age because I wanted nothing more at that time than to help take care of you, play with you, and overall just make you a happy baby. You're truly missed every single day. I miss your laugh. I miss your smile. I miss your big, beautiful blue eyes. I miss doing the little things like picking you up from school, helping you with your homework, even though we both hated doing that. I just miss you and your presence. But that unfortunately was taken from us. I have so much hatred in my heart, specifically for the creature that's sitting in this room today. And no matter what happens or what justice could be brought, it kills me that it doesn't bring you back. I would give up my life if it meant having you here with us. Even though I was your aunt, you always felt much more like a little sister to me. Doing your hair for the father-daughter dances that my dad would take you to, letting you pick out clothes from my closet, doing your makeup and making sure it was very light because your natural beauty was worth more than any makeup product money could buy. I just miss you every single day, and it's left a hole in my heart from the day you've been gone. Your innocence was taken from you, and since clearly that wasn't enough for a certain someone, so was your life. You were the bravest little girl I've ever met, full of love, light, laughter, and as any positive thing I could think of, you were all of those things. I'm so blessed to have spent 13 years with someone so wonderful, and you're going to live on through all of us. Not because of what happened to you, because that didn't define who you were. I'm going to make sure my future kids know who you are, and make sure my grandkids know who you are, and so on. Today I sit here before everyone, and all I can say is that despite what anyone thinks they know, you were so loved by each and every one of your family members, and I know you left this world knowing that. I know it would pain you to see what people have to say about your loved ones, but what I think of it all is that, and what I'd want you to think up in heaven is that it's all just noise. And I find comfort in the fact that we, your family, know you were beyond loved and beyond cared for. I'm so sorry we found out too late. But despite everything that was happening to you behind closed doors, you still remained one of the happiest human beings I've ever met. Someone who loved us deeply and made us all smile. Trying to find light in this horrible situation is very difficult, but one thing I am grateful for is that your last day on this earth was everything you wanted and more. You got the birthday you asked for. Your best friends were able to be with you. We cooked the food you specifically asked for, and overall, I have the memory of sitting outside by my pool looking at you and your friends and just thinking, I'm so glad she's having a great time. And look at how grown up she is. How she's blossoming into such an amazing young woman. I could go on forever, but I just want to leave this here by saying I love you so much, and I miss you endlessly. Everything I do from now on, any accomplishments, any decisions I make, anything that happens in my life, I'm going to do it for you and in your honor. I love you, Madeline Soto, and I hope you're resting peacefully now.
Okay, I gotta do commentary. So we heard statements from the grandmother. We heard statements from Angelica. Angelica was the roommate she was one of the roommates who stayed with Maddie and Jennifer. She's also the roommate that Stephan Sterns took pictures of when she was not unconsented pictures. She didn't know he stuck his phone underneath her door and took pictures of her. We heard another statement from, I think, family, and then this one before the woman who's going to come up, we heard from Maddie's aunt, who is Jennifer Soto's sister. Hearing this is I mean, it breaks my heart. I can only imagine when Tyler goes up, because I know Tyler and Tatiana are going to speak. But Angelica, what caught my attention with Angelica was Angelica said it herself, she wished she should have done better, and she wished that Madeline would have told her something, because she would have done something to stop it. Now, obviously, when they talked to the roommates said they didn't know anything, that we've talked about it when we did the live. The roommates said that they didn't know anything was going on. They would hear noises in his bedroom, but they thought he was just, building something or doing something. When they saw Maddie and Stephan Sterns, it seemed like it was kind of like a father-daughter bond. They didn't really show anything. But, I mean, Angelica said it herself, if Maddie would have came up to her and said something, she would have said something, Her aunt described literally the day before she went missing and when she was sadly killed. The aunt said that, they had her birthday party, they cooked her food that she wanted, she hanged out with her friends, she was with family, she was having a good time. Remember, they were celebrating her 13th birthday. Her birthday was during the week, so of course during the weekend they celebrated her birthday with her. The grandma's statement was, she, same thing. She wished Maddie would have said something. She loved Maddie. Maddie was a sweet girl. From hearing all these things, Maddie was really just a sweet little girl. And it is sad how, that monster took away her innocence and he killed her. He raped her. He did all these things to her. It's terrible. It's horrible.
Can you tell the court your name and then spell your first and last name for the court reporter?
Natalie Rosero, Nathalie. Thank you, Your Honor, for having me here today. I've known the family for over 15 years. I am best friends with Maddie's aunt and was roommates with Maddie and her mom during the time her life was ended. All of our kids are the same age, so we always try to keep them united and spend as many holidays together. I have years worth of beautiful pictures, birthdays, Christmas, and Easters we all spent together. Those are the moments I try to hold on to as I stand here today. I'm here to express what the past year and a half has been like in my experience. From the moment we found out that Maddie went missing, life has never been the same. Those first 48 hours we set out to look for her, we spread flowers, went knocking on door to door, going to every business down John Young Parkway from Kissimmee to Sand Lake, asking for the public's help, all while seeing my best friend and her family have emotional breakdowns, feeling completely helpless and terrified for Maddie, thinking how could anyone just take her? It turns out we spent almost 3 days looking in the wrong location because Stephan lied to us about where he last saw her. Your Honor, that's the first time in my life I've ever felt true hate for anyone. The following days were filled with more sadness and distraught. We went from searching for a missing person to looking for a body. I had been searching for her as if my son was missing, so it was very difficult to accept that. We spent the rest of the week canvassing St. Cloud until they eventually found her body. Although there was a moment of relief that at least her body was found, that was the last sense of relief I've felt since that day. I was confident I had the power of discernment, but I couldn't even see the evil living in the same house. As details of the sexual abuse and her death came to light, you start to question everything. I even questioned my own faith. Having a full night's sleep became a luxury I could not afford. I was too anxious to sleep, constantly wanting to wake up from a nightmare. It wasn't until I started wishing death on him that I realized I needed help. I started going to therapy to try to deal with the grief and anger of losing Maddie the way we did. I also had to navigate my son's emotions as he finds out the cruelty that exists in this world. Holidays are not the same. The void is loud. It's hard to trust people. I am very guarded. I am hoping that when everything here is said and done, there can be some type of closure, even though Maddie's life can never be replaced. That is the only reason I am here today. As decisions are made, please keep in mind that she wasn't even my child, and I feel this way. I cannot imagine the pain, trauma, and deception that Maddie's family has experienced. I do not wish this pain and suffering on any other child or family. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Stephanie online would like to address the board.
We're joined by an online presence. Stephanie, you may unmute your microphone and let the court know how this has affected your family and yourself.
Can you tell the court your first and last name and spell them, please?
I can see that her microphone is still muted.
Can you hear me, Judge?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, hi. Sorry. To the court. Maddie brought a light into her. Maddie brought a light into my life that I would never be able to describe. With her outgoing personality and her infectious smile, her infectious laugh. She was so kind-hearted, adventurous, and loving. Now that she's gone, everything's changed. The silence where her laughter used to be is deafening. The hole in my heart is bottomless, and the pain is indescribable. My family's life has been shattered. What we've endured and what we will continue to endure for the rest of our lives is a kind of pain that I do not wish on anyone. No family should have to lose a loved one in this horrible manner, especially at such too young. Her life was taken. Her future. I should say, never see her fall in love, get married, or build a future that she deserved. With her. This while in her.
Appears the connection is no longer established.
You return it. I can finish reading it, Judge.
Rejoin.
I'm so sorry. I'm not in a good place with connection. I apologize.
You may continue. We can
This
hear you.
This vile and heartless crime has not only affected and traumatized my family, but so many other families as well. It has also impacted her friends, all of those who knew her, as well as the whole community. There are nights where I can't sleep, nights where I wake up gasping for air, haunted by what Maddie must have gone through. I am consumed by grief I carry such an anger that it eats away at me on a daily basis. A depression I never thought was possible. The emptiness touches every moment of every day. And everywhere I look, I see her. I hear her laugh in my memories, and then I remember she's gone, and it destroys me all over again. To know what Maddie went through and how terrified she must have been is unbearable. The thought of her suffering haunts me. The cruelty of what was done to her will never stop echoing in my mind. I asked the court for something that I know I could never really have, justice. Because real justice would mean that Maddie would be here with us and not you. You still get to wake up every day, something you cruelly stole from her and from us. The way you discarded Maddie as if she was nothing and her life had no value is a true reflection of your evil. The suffering you caused her should be given back to you tenfold. You do not deserve peace. You do not deserve mercy. You deserve to carry the weight of her pain every single day, just how we will carry it for the rest of our lives. And let me be perfectly clear. Where you go after this life will not be where Maddie is. She is in a place of peace surrounded by love. You, on the other hand, will never know peace. You will never see her again. You're not going where she is going. You're going to hell. Thank you, court.
And Stephanie, can you tell the court your first and last name, please?
Stephanie Soto.
Thank you.
Stephanie Soto, did you get it? I'm sorry.
Ms. Soto, we can hear you. Thank you for your statement.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Can you tell the court your first and last name and spelling?
Kimberly Vialta. Your Honor, I stand here today to give you a little insight of how loved and how losing Maddie has destroyed my family. Although Maddie was not my blood, I considered her my family. And I loved her like my own niece. Maddie was a kind and bubbly child and was growing up to be the most amazing young lady. She loved arts and crafts, Taylor Swift, and sour gummy candy. I had the honor and privilege of spending many holidays and special occasions with Maddie over the years, and I will cherish those memories forever. I do not have joy or happiness left in me because this monster took that away from us when he killed Maddie. Every day I feel like life is not worth living anymore because such heinous evil exists in this world. There is not a day that goes by where I do not think about all the pain and suffering that Maddie endured. This monster took advantage of her trust and her innocence. This parasite robbed us of every moment we could have had with Maddie. And our lives will never be the same. A life sentence is not punishment enough for what he did to Maddie. However, it gives me comfort to know that he will spend the rest of his miserable life in prison. I hope he lives a long and healthy life so he suffers every single day. Therefore, I ask the court to not take any mercy on this poor excuse of a human when imposing his sentence because he does not deserve it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Can you let the court know your names?
My name is Tyler Wallace.
Anna Wallace.
And Tyler, what's your relationship to Madeline Soto?
Madeline Soto was my daughter.
Want to try terzepatide?
So this is terzepatide.
Okay, well, we're hearing from everybody. Next, we're going to hear from Tyler. Let me mute this, though. We're going to hear from Tyler and Tatiana, and then I think there's a few more they got. So let's hear what Tyler has to say. So Stephanie came out. So I believe Stephanie Soto is one of Jennifer Soto's other sisters. I'm not sure how many sisters Jennifer Soto has, but the one before her, I mean, she talked about how she was feeling, how they were feeling, the family, when they were looking for Maddie, when they were going door to door, giving out flyers, they were looking for her. And then she said it quickly changed from finding a missing person to now finding a body. She even said she had to explain to her son what had happened to Maddie, all these other things. She said it herself, she felt so much anger towards Stephan Sterns that she wished horrible things on him, that she went to therapy, all these things, everyone felt horrible. She can only imagine how the family feels. I can only imagine how the family feels, going from, okay, especially Tyler, because Tyler is not in Florida. Tyler is in Texas. He's actually not that far from where I live in Texas. So I can only imagine how Tyler feels. He's all the way here in Texas. He finds out, hey, my daughter's missing. He has to fly out, and they're frantically looking for Maddie. They're looking to see where Maddie went. They want to know what happened to Maddie. They're questioning Sterns, like, okay, where did you leave Maddie? They want every little detail so they can be like, okay, where do we look for Maddie? And then it went from finding Maddie to, okay, now we're finding a body, a deceased body. And, you can only imagine how the switch up feels, where they're like, okay, there's hope. We're going to find Maddie alive and well, to boom, Maddie's not alive. Maddie's not well. We're looking for her body, her remains. So you can only imagine how the family is feeling, even like a year later, how they're feeling. They're heartbroken. They're sad. They're grieving. They don't know what to do. Things like that. My heart and prayers and condolences go out to Maddie's family. Justice for Maddie. I want full justice for Maddie. Maddie did not deserve this. Maddie deserved to be a happy 13-year-old little girl who will live on and on and on. But monsters like Stephan Sterns exist.
Go ahead. Madeline Soto was my daughter. She was happiness. She was a joy to be around. She was quirky and intelligent. She was curious. A little forgetful like me too. That happens sometimes, but I just loved her so much. And I was not able to be in her life as much as I would like to, due to circumstances and choices I've made, due to the way finances worked. I was strained in my relationship with my daughter, and that was finally getting better. The last time I saw her was in October of 2023, and she had come to visit for a few days. And when I took her back to the airport, I said, you're turning 13 soon. When you turn 13, you have a choice of which guardian you're interested in staying with. Would you like to stay with me and talk to you? And she said, yes, that she would. And so I was this close to having my little girl, sir. Because of the act.
I'm always on mute. Stop. What did he say?
Mercy on this poor excuse of a human.
I can't.
Let me back it up a bit.
My name is Tyler Wallace.
Tyler, what's your relationship to Madeline Soto?
Madeline Soto was my daughter.
Go ahead.
Madeline Soto was my daughter. She was happiness. She was a joy to be around. She was quirky and intelligent. She was curious. A little forgetful like me too. That happens sometimes, but I just loved her so much. And I was not able to be in her life as much as I would like to, due to circumstances and choices I've made, due to the way finances worked. I was strained in my relationship with my daughter, and that was finally getting better. The last time I saw her was in October of 2023, and she had come to visit for a few days. And when I took her back to the airport, I said, you're turning 13 soon. When you turn 13, you have a choice of which guardian you're interested in staying with. Would you like to stay with me and talk to you? And she said, yes, that she would. And so.
Right there. Okay. He said he last saw Maddie October of 2023. She was there for a few days. When you turn 13, I guess in the state of Florida or in any state, you're able to pick which guardian you would like to stay with. And Tyler said he asked her the question, and she said that she wanted to go and stay with her father. And Tatiana, who is her stepmom, her bonus mom, he was close to getting her. Now, I've always said it when we talked about the case. There's many different things that could have made Stephan Sterns snapped, and this was one of them that I said. Was it that she told Stephan Sterns, hey, I'm gonna go tell my dad, I'm 13 years old, I'm gonna go tell my dad what you're doing, that it's wrong? Did he snap? Did Stephan Sterns know, allegedly, that he knew that if Maddie were to go live with her father and stepmother, that the grapes, the actual assaults, everything that he was doing to Maddie would completely end, because he knew he had no access to Maddie once Maddie was able to go and live with her father? Because mind you, she lives in Texas, right? He's gonna let Jennifer come and see Maddie for a few hours, and then she has to leave. She can't take Maddie unless Maddie wants to go with her. But obviously, we all know if once Maddie is with Tyler, she feels safe, she feels comfortable, she's not gonna want to go with her own mother. We all know Stephan Sterns can't go and pick her up from Texas because, one, that's weird. Two, because he's just the boyfriend to the mom. He's not no stepfather. He's not the father. He's not an uncle. He's not a brother. He's nothing to her. He's literally just dating Jennifer. So could it have been that Stephan Sterns knew that Maddie agreed to go stay with Tyler, and he snapped on her and killed her? Could it have been? Did he know that his time, I hate to say this, did he know that his time with Maddie was gonna be cut shortly because she wants to go stay with Tyler? Could it have been? I've always said that could have been one reason. And I think him saying it, he was so close to getting her. If you remember, she just turned 13 years old. He was literally so close to getting Maddie away from everything, even though he didn't know what was going on. Could that have been that, Stephan Sterns quickly just snapped and just said, you know what? Nope, you're not going. You're staying here with me and mom. And they got into an argument and he choked her and killed her. It's a possibility.
So I was this close to having my little girl, sir. Because of the actions of this depraved man, I will never meet the woman she was becoming. And I can't grasp it. I can't grasp the selfishness of you, the deplorability of your actions. You're depraved. You're weak. You're a coward. You're a sneak thief. You crept into a family and took advantage and exploited them when they were weak. It's torn my family apart. It's led to arguments about who can go where and who can get what and who can help who, but we're all on edge because it doesn't heal with time. This isn't like other deaths that I've experienced. This just gets worse. It just gets worse every time I rethink about it and the true horror of what this man did upon her. And I can only hope that he lives a long time in prison and has those same horrors revisited upon him by his fellow inmates. Thank you.
It has no further witnesses.
He is angry, as he should be. I mean, he is in the courtroom with the man who abused his little girl, the man who killed his little girl. I would see why Tyler is angry. Jennifer Soto let this man into her life and he had easy access to Maddie. So I would see why he's upset. He's very angry towards Stephan Sterns and Jennifer Soto. I'm sure if Jennifer Soto was there, he would grill Jennifer Soto too. I mean, it breaks my heart because he said it himself. You know, he was so close. He didn't have a good relationship with Maddie. You know, he was going through some things. He fixed himself up. Things were working out. He was able, you know, she turned 13. He told her, you know what do you want to stay with? You get to choose. She said, I want to go stay with you. He was so close to having that relationship that he always wanted from the beginning with his daughter. And, you know, like he said, it was snatched away so quickly by a disgusting, perverted piece of shit. And, you know, it's going to hurt him for life because he said it, you know, he's not going to be able to see the woman his daughter, his only daughter, I'm assuming, is ever going to turn out to be.
Defense, any input prior to sentencing? State, do you have additional input?
Can you please tell the court your name?
Okay, my name is Leslie Vajalta.
And how are you related to?
I'm a close friend of Maddie's family. Most people only know Maddie as the victim of a heinous crime, but I'd like to talk about Maddie today, and I'd like to share some things that I really loved about her. I loved how fearless Maddie was. She was an amazing swimmer. She was a fast learner. The moment she set her mind to something, she did it. That's how she was about everything. She dove into everything head first, and she was so resilient. She had the most beautiful smile. It lit up our entire life. Every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, I was so excited to see her, to talk to her about her life. She was so curious. She was so smart. She could sing. She loved to perform for us. I enjoyed watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Bob's Burgers. She even dressed up as Louise one year for Halloween. And I loved her witty, outspoken personality. She's so funny. And that's how I want everyone to leave here thinking about her, remembering her. She lost a lot of privacy towards the end of her life. And I want her to be remembered by her amazing qualities, not the abuse she endured and the exploitation she endured by her abuser. There's not 1 second of my life that I don't think about Maddie. I'll forever celebrate her in my heart and out loud. Maddie was too good for the world, and she did not deserve any of this. Ever since she's been gone, our family, our joy, everything is destroyed. No one smiles anymore. No one laughs. Most days I can't even leave my house. I feel like I can't breathe. And I'm not even her blood relative. I was just so lucky to be a part of her life. He took Maddie away from us. He took away her whole childhood. He took away all her potential that we saw in her, and he took everything from us. And now it's time for him to reap what he sows. This disgusting parasite stole Maddie's youth, her innocence, her life, her joy. He has stolen our sense of safety. I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see his disgusting face. I can imagine what he did to her. I know every detail. I've read everything. I will never bring children into this world because of people like him, depraved, disgusting maggots just like him. He's not the only one. May God forgive him because I definitely do not. I please ask the court to prosecute him to the fullest extent. Show no mercy, exactly how he did Maddie. Justice for Maddie. Thank you.
Okay.
Nothing further.
That's any input prior to sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we would like to thank the State Attorney's Office for sparing Mr. Sterns' life. And we do sincerely hope that this will bring closure and help to start the healing process for Ms. Soto's.
Oh, please sit your ass down to spare Mr. Sterns' life. Please shut up. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. Did Mr. Sterns think of Maddie's life when he killed her? Did Sterns think of Maddie's life when he raped her? No, he didn't.
Court has accepted Mr. Stearns' plea of no contest for the first-degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto and his plea of guilty to 8 counts of sexual battery on Madeline Soto under the age of 12, sexual battery upon Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18 in a familial custodial role, and lewd or lascivious molestation, counts 14 through 20. State, do you have an announcement as to the notice of intent to seek the penalty of death?
Your Honor, we will waive the notice of intent to seek death. We will file an electronic null pros for counts 21 through 60. And we are also asking that you inquire about waiving a PSI, just in abundance of caution.
Based on the announcement from the state of Florida, the maximum potential sentence in these cases is life in prison without the possibility of parole, as the notice of intent to seek the penalty of death has been waived. Ms. Smith, as to 2024 CF 632, is there a waiver of an entitlement to a pre-sentence investigation?
Yes, Judge.
Gordon, as to the remaining case 2024 CF 1293, is there a waiver of entitlement to a pre-sentence investigation?
Yes, he is not entitled to a PSI on this.
Thank you. The court has had an opportunity to hear the anguish and the fury of shattered families. Everyone in the gallery has had an opportunity to hear the anguish and the fury of community mourning and permanently diminished. Folks joining us around the state and the country remotely have heard the opportunity to hear the anguish and fury of a meaningful future that was stolen and a beautiful promise of Madeline Soto's life extinguished permanently. Stephan Sterns, you have had the opportunity to hear that anguish and fury from your actions. As to first-degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto, you are adjudicated guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As to the capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12, for each count, you are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For the sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18, you are adjudicated guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For the lewd and lascivious molestation of Madeline Soto, you are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. These sentences will run concurrently, meaning at the same time. The state of Florida has withdrawn their notice of intent to seek the penalty of death. These are the maximum sentences permitted to the court. Each case will have court costs that will be reduced to a civil judgment.
2024 CF 632, court costs are $11,163. As to 24 CF 1293, $666.
Court incorporates the addendum to the plea form as to each plea in 2024 CF 632 and 2024 CF 1293. Not announced. You are adjudicated guilty as counts 1 through 8, 24 CF 632. State any further sentencing considerations?
Yes, Your Honor. With regards to count 14 through count 20 and 24 CF 632, the court sentenced to life in prison. There is a 25-year minimum mandatory with that as well. The state also provided the court with a score sheet which encompasses counts 9 through 20. It includes penetration and contact points as well. A copy of that has been provided to defense as well in the court. I haven't been made aware of any corrections or additions or subtractions.
Do not have a copy of this.
Should be with the plea form, Your Honor.
It's not. I'm going to need a copy of the score sheet, please. Ms. Smith, Ms. Borden, the total sentence points pursuant to the Criminal Punishment Code score sheet are 1,278 with a lowest permissible prison sentence in months of 937.5 months. That doesn't include sexual penetration points of 80 times 5 and sex contact points of 40 times 7. Any errors, corrections, or omissions to the score sheet? Ms. Smith? Ms. Borden?
No, Your Honor.
25-year minimum mandatory sentence as to the counts requiring a minimum mandatory sentence are imposed. Stearns, you will have the right to appeal the judgment and sentences of the court. If you wish to do so, you must do so in writing within the next 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. The appeal will be limited to the jurisdiction of the court to impose the sentence. Legality of the sentence itself is a condition of your agreement with the state of Florida. You are agreeing not to appeal the pretrial rulings of the court. State anything else? Defense, anything else? Thank you. Let's place Mr. Stearns under, he's been previously placed under oath.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to make a brief statement. I agree that it's not fair that Madeline is not here anymore. I still have a hard time contemplating a world where she's not around, a world which feels less vibrant and less colorful than it did before. I've prayed to God countless times to trade places with her, to take me instead. And unfortunately, that's just not how he works. I have nothing but sorrow for her loss, and I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well. And she truly was a joy. I pray to God that she is in heaven and that he's taking good care of her. And I hope she gets to join the choir because she had a beautiful voice. I will miss her all the time. I will never not honor her memory. And I apologize for all the pain.
Anything further, defense? Conclude our plea and sentencing hearing. We'll be in recess.
Why did he get to say anything? Nobody wants to hear you, Stephan Sterns. Like what he said was complete bullshit. That's what it was. It was complete bull shit. All right, so that we're going to end it because pretty much he just said he was guilty. He admitted to the crimes. He's gonna get life in prison without parole. Now I don't know if they are going to come back and say anything else. I don't think so. I mean, he's locked away. The fact that his lawyer was like, we want to thank the state for sparing Mr. Sterns' life. Shut up. Okay, just shut up. Because Stephan Sterns didn't think of Madeline Soto. He didn't think about her life. He you know, he killed her. He didn't care about her life. He raped her. He didn't care about her life. Yeah, he's sentenced to life without parole. That's basically it. He pleaded guilty. He did what Brian Koberger did. You know, Brian Koberger pleaded guilty to all the crimes. I think they should have just left him with the death penalty. He was, I mean, he's one disgusting man. We've talked about this case. I've heard others talk about this case. Grizzly True Crime actually dug deep into this case. She did an amazing job. Shout out to Grizzly True Crime. Go give her guys a follow up. Duty Ron actually covered this case too. Shout out to Duty Ron. But you know, justice from Madeline Soto. You know, my prayers, condolences go out to Maddie's family, to Tyler and Tatiana, especially Tyler and Tatiana, because Tyler was so close. He said it. He was so close to getting Maddie with him. He was so close to rebuilding their relationship, their bond. You know, he was on the right track. He was so excited. They were excited to finally, you know, get Maddie, and look what happened. Stephan Sterns decided to take her life. You know, the grandma, the aunts, the family friends, all came and said, you know, everyone said Maddie was a sweet little girl. She lit up the room. They all miss her. It was so sad when they found out she was missing. They were, you know, frantically looking for her. And then to find out, you know, hey, now you're not looking for a missing person who could be alive anywhere. You're actually looking for a person who's deceased, and the mother's boyfriend killed her. So you can imagine how they felt. You can imagine how they feel towards Jennifer Soto. You know what I'm saying? Jennifer Soto can put up this front and be like, you know, I didn't know anything. You know, he did it under my nose. He manipulated me. He threatened me. He did this. He did that. Bullshit, girl, bullshit. The whole world has seen your inconsistencies. Your family has seen your inconsistencies. Everything about this case came out, and everyone saw who the real Jennifer Soto was, just how they saw who the real Stephan Sterns is, and who the real Christopher and Deborah Sterns are. It's just so, it's disgusting how there is women out there in this world who choose a man over their own kids. We've talked about, you know, parents who unalive their children. We've talked about Gabriel Fernandez. You know, Gabriel Fernandez was, you know, abused. He was tortured by his own mother and the boyfriend. We talked about many other cases. I've even gone into depth of why, you know, they do it from what I've read in studies and researches. It's disgusting. It's sad. Now the big question is, now that Stephan Sterns, he's got his plea deal, he's serving, you know, life without parole. What is going to happen to Jennifer Soto? We've all been asking this question since the case wrote out when, like last year, it's been a year. We've all been asking this, what is going to happen to Jennifer Soto? Where is Jennifer Soto? Nobody has seen Jennifer Soto in over a year. I'm pretty sure her family knows where she is. I'm sure she's hiding. She probably changed her identity. She changed her looks so people wouldn't know that it's her. I mean, nobody. Oh, what did I click? Okay. No, nobody knows where Jennifer Soto is. And I'm sure if she were to come out and somewhat try to so-called speak her truth, it's bullshit. Because, like, we've said it, like Craig said it. She's to blame also. She allowed this man into her life. She let this man go upstairs with her 13-year-old daughter, thinking it was not an issue because she wanted sleep. She wanted her sleep. She chose her peace over her own daughter's well-being and her health. She is to blame for it because she's the reason. She put Maddie on a gold platter and said, "Here you go, Stephan. You can take my daughter." We read about the man that she was married to prior getting with Stephan Sterns, Stephen. He said it himself. He treated Maddie like she was his own daughter. He never saw. He was a normal man. Okay. Stephan Sterns was not a normal man. Stephan Sterns was interested in Jennifer and in Madeline Soto. He wanted the 2-for-1 special. I'm going to date the mother and I get the daughter too. That's disgusting. There's men out there who are really like that. You'd be surprised in the studies of how many men are like that in this world. It's disgusting. The fact that he even went and said, like, Maddie threw herself on me. Maddie initiated this. Maddie wanted to do this. Maddie wanted to do that. Maddie never wanted to do that. Maddie was a 13-year-old little girl who was trying to live her life. Maddie was trying to get away from all the abuse. Maddie was so close to go living with her dad. I'm pretty sure she was so excited. And then you just ruined it, Stephan. Maddie cried for help. Maddie wanted Jennifer to do something to stop it. Hint why she never wanted to sleep by herself, because she always wanted Jennifer. She was trying to get Jennifer's attention. Jennifer didn't see that. Jennifer was too busy in fucking, I don't know, delusion land. And the fact that you give your own flesh and blood, your own 13 daughter, a makeshift room, you don't even give her own proper room. You give your boyfriend his own room. Why does your boyfriend need his own room? If that's your boyfriend should be staying in the same room as you. Why does he need to have his own room for? I mean, if you had a boyfriend and you have kids, right? Would you put your boyfriend in his own room and have your kids in a makeshift room? I don't think so. You would put your boyfriend to be in the same room as you and your kids have their own room, correct? Any normal family would do that. Jennifer's not normal. Jennifer chose the man over anything. And the fact that the roommates, they said it themselves, like they didn't see anything suspicious because the way they were acting with each other, they were like a father-daughter bond. Of course, they're not going to show any actions because Stephan Sterns probably threatened Madeline Soto not to say anything, not to show emotion, not to tell anybody. But I would have questioned Jennifer and be like, okay, Stephan's your boyfriend, right? Why does Stephan have his own room with a padlock and your daughter is in a little makeshift room in the living room? That makes no sense at all. You should give your daughter her own room. 100%. Always give your child their own room, and you let your guest or your boyfriend sleep in their own little bed. Well, even at that, your boyfriend's supposed to share the same room as you, correct? I don't get what the issue is here. Jennifer, how do you think that's normal? Like, it makes no sense at all. I don't know. I just can't wrap my mind around it. Like, I really can't. Like, you expect me to sit here and be like, okay, You know, I feel bad for Jennifer. I don't feel bad for Jennifer. Jennifer knew what she was doing. Jennifer's a grown-ass woman. It's 2025. If you are a single mother and you decide to date, always look into the backgrounds of who your partner is. Always look at the interactions of them before you introduce them to your child. I don't know how Jennifer Soto did it when she introduced Maddie to Stephan Sterns. I honestly don't think that she probably did her research on Stephan Sterns. But it is, this case from the beginning was a mind roll, because I'm always like, you know, what about Jennifer? Jennifer had to know something. Where's Jennifer? Jennifer, you know? It's just, I want justice for Maddie, for her family. But yeah, if there's any more updates, I'm pissed because the fact that he decided to plead not guilty right before they were going to start doing his trial for one of the charges just pisses me off. If there's any more updates on the Madeline Soto case, I will definitely let you guys know. I'm going to do a live sometime next week on all the cases we've done, like little updates on it. So with Maddie already being updated, if there's something that comes out by the time I go live next week, of course, I'll include it in the live. But yeah, we're going on almost 2 hours. I'm going to end it. I want to thank everyone who is here. I want to thank my replay crew. You guys are the best. Give this a like, subscribe. Wednesday, we'll be back. We're going to talk about another piece of shit mother, Casey Anthony herself. And then we're going to take some phone calls because we're going to read into the affidavits of Casey Anthony and many, many other things regarding Casey Anthony. And then I do have other lives ready to be put out on YouTube, so I'll let you guys know on Wednesday when those are happening and what cases. But I want to thank you guys so much. Let me know down below what you think about what happened with today, you know, regarding Stephan Sterns. Do you think that Jennifer Soto is next? Do you think maybe they're crossing their I's, dotting their T's to get ready to charge Jennifer Soto? Do you think they got something up their sleeve for Jennifer Soto? Because she's been super quiet. They've been super quiet on her as well. Do you think maybe they're going to just snipe her and they're going to charge her? Do you think she's next? Are they going to throw Stephan Sterns in Gen Pop? Are they going to keep him in an isolated area where he's away from the jail members? What do you think? Do you think this was a step into justice for Maddie? Do you think that what Stephan Sterns did was good? Or do you think that they should have kept the death penalty on him? But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. If you have any other cases that you want me to cover, definitely send them to me on Discord, my email. You can put them in the comments down below. But I'll be back Wednesday around 8:30, the same time we were live today. We're going to talk about Casey Anthony. And then from there, I'll let you guys know the other lives, dates, and everything. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Justice for Madeline Soto. My heart, prayers, and condolences go out to the family. Tyler and Tatiana, I'm so sorry that you were so close to having your baby girl and this monster ruined it for you. Jennifer Soto, fuck you. That's what I gotta say. I'm mad because, you know, I have so much to say about Jennifer Soto. Like, I'm angry. Excuse my language. I'm very, very angry. because like, just how, like, I have so many questions. If she ever comes out talking, I would like to sit and talk to her. I would like to interview her. I would like to know, like, hey, what happened? Even though I know it might not be the truth, I want to know what she has to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just very I'm just like, I'm just like, this case since the beginning, I've always felt a way about this case because there was so much inconsistencies. Even the fact that the cop leaked her body in the woods. I think it was the reporter who took a selfie with Stephan Sterns. Like, there was so much like cabago going on with this case while it was happening. I'm just like, what is going on here? What is going on in Osceola County in Florida? Like, I just want to know, like, Madeline Soto, you were such a beautiful little girl. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I will continue to be screaming justice for you, even if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years later. For you in any of the cases that we've talked about, I will continue. Just like Savannah Soto. I know Savannah Soto and Brad Simpson trials are coming up. I do want to live stream those. Stephan Sterns was going to be a trial I was going to live stream as well, but since this happened, I don't think there will be a trial. The Idaho 4 was another one as well, but obviously what happened, I don't think there will be one either. So I definitely want to do a trial live. But yeah, excuse my language, guys. Sorry, I get like so mad because I'm like, oh my God, like, are you kidding me? Like, I use my platform to bring out these cases, to bring stories, be the victim's voice. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes these cases hit hard, and Madeline Soto was one of those cases. It hit hard. But yeah, I'll see you guys Wednesday at 8:30. We're gonna talk about another case that hit hard, which is the Kaylee Anthony case, or Casey Anthony. We have a lot to talk about regarding Casey Anthony. It is crazy. I dug deep into this case. I've got all the affidavits you can think of. I got the 911 call. So be ready because I do want to take phone calls. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys.